Here then, there's a thing you can buy for less than £2,000. A Jaguar XJR. AJ16 straight 6, 4 litre, Eaton M90 supercharger, 320 odd horsepower, some torque to go with that. It's a monster, and you can have it for less than £2,000. And this is an example of that. This car, which belongs to Graham Eason at Great Escape, or Great Driving Days I should say, Classic Car Hire, he bought this car for £1,500. And is it a dog? Is it on fire? Is it two Jaguars welded together? No, it's just a bargain Jaguar. People will tell you with the X300 that that's the car that Ford made. It's a Ford, it's got a Ford key. People called Gerald that go on internet forums will shout and moan because it's just a Mondeo. Blah, 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 blah. Ignore Gerald. Gerald is an idiot. The X300 was the result of Ford taking over Jaguar and basically saying, here's a big bag of money, build a car. And what they built was the X300. And in any guise, it's a good car. I've always liked it. It's low, long, wide. It's a sort of Resto Mod Series 3 XJ in the way it looks, and I think it's an incredibly handsome car. And I'd have a 3.2 Sport, but when presented with the opportunity to drive a fast one, namely this, the XJR MIT supercharger, I wasn't going to say no. Yeah, so the XJR represents sort of maximum bang for your buck, almost in a literal sense, because there's many bangs going on under the bonnet. But you know, if you want a powerful, exciting, interesting car and you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can't go wrong with this. This was a huge moment for Jaguar. The supercharged, it was the second car they ever made with forced induction. It was the first supercharged production car Jaguar ever made, so they weren't messing around with it. And it really was a flagship car. It was an example of how Jaguar could be exciting and brave and a bit youthful as well. And Jaguar needed that, especially in the 90s, when other brands like Mercedes and Lexus were taken away from the large executive saloon market. They were taking that away from the Brits, where we traditionally had always been king. And this brought it back, and it was helped by people like Jamie Clarkson buying one and lifting the car's profile. But more than that, it was just a great car. I even asked Rich, who's driving the camera car in front, what he thought of it, and he said, and that's a glowing review, really. So I'm going to carry on driving it now for a short while, and I'll leave you with some tracking shots and some car-to-car action, which gives me an excuse to get the funk out.
Whoa, hold on a cotton-picking minute. You're not qualified to get the funk out. What do you think you're playing at? Smooth jazz, I think, is about your level.
Okay, I won't be getting the funk out. I've been told by Bad Obsession Motorsport I'll get some smooth jazz out. Anyway, the car. So, it's a performance model. There's no getting away from that. It is the XJR. It is the supercharged 320 odd horsepower straight 6 Eaton M90 supercharged, as I said, beast of a car. But here's the thing. Here's something you need to remember if you're looking at one of these. This is not a quick car. It's not a fast car. It is a powerful car, and there is a difference. Fast and quick suggests urgency and drama and a degree of sharpness, and that's not to say that the XJR is blunt, because it's not, but it's not about performance. It's not about shoving you into the back of the seat when you put your foot down. It's about getting where you want to go without any concerns of having the power to do so. This will waft along on the motorway and you'll be at 70, 80, 90 before you know what's going on. There will be no drama, no histrionics, no stress to do that, because it is a powerful car. The fact it's quick is a byproduct, that is not its primary function. So you buy this because you want the power, and there is lots of it. It's incredibly smooth in the way it's delivered. Even on this car, which is 100,000 miles in now nearly, it's still smooth and refined and clean and just lovely to drive. In terms of other attributes of the way it drives, the brakes are well balanced. They match the car well. You've got bigger wheels on this. You've got the 17-inch XJR alloys, which mean slightly wider tyres, so you've got a good footing. You don't ever feel like you've got too much power, which is nice, especially as it's coming out of the rear end. The transmission, which is I've got that written down, which is a General Motors 4L80E 4-speed. Yes, when we're doing these road tests, we write stuff down. That's how it works. Very, very smooth. It's not a fancy double clutch box or anything like that. It's just a big old slush box, but it's lovely. Does the job. The changes are clean and barely noticeable. It's nice. You could get this with a 5-speed manual, although quite why you'd want to is beyond me, unless you wanted to revisit what I was saying before about Tokyo drifting, and you could do a sick drift chap what-ho in your Jaguar while working through your manual gears. It seems a bit juxtaposed to me. It's a bit off to have that gearbox in this car, and I like a manual gearbox, but I just don't think it fits this car. So go with the auto. They made more of them anyway, so you're probably going to find an auto. Anything to report? Common problems on these: the headlining sags. This one's not too bad, luckily, which is nice. They suffer from corrosion terribly, which isn't good, but it's symptomatic of Jags of this era. So rear arches, sills, front arches, front wings, suspension struts, chassis corrosion. It's all a very real concern and issue with these. That's what you really need to look out for. People will tell you that they're a nightmare mechanically, and they're not. As long as they're serviced, this engine is bomb-proof. So is the transmission, so is the differential. The suspension, if it's maintained and looked after, is good. There are no major concerns there. Don't buy one without service history, and don't think you're precluded to buying one without service history because you're shopping on a budget. You're not. They've depreciated to such an extent that you can get XJRs, or even just an X300. You can get one with service history, and get one you should, because you need that peace of mind. The oil should be changed in the supercharger every 100,000 miles, so this one's about ready. But other than that, it's slightly more expensive than your average car to maintain because it's a Jag. So things come with Jag tax. So you be aware of that. It's not going to cost the same to run as a Volkswagen Fox. But you should get one. It's an amazing bit of kit. It's just a wonderful car. I don't want to give this one back. I will, because it's horrific on fuel. That's the big consideration you've got to make. They are terrible on the old Go Juice. Whoops, trip of the tyres there. Yeah, heavy on fuel. And you've got a trip computer that tells you the range, but it's just a drunk Carol Vorderman in there. It doesn't know what's happening. So it's like 5 miles, 25 miles, 300 miles, 7 miles. It doesn't know how much fuel you've got. So just go off the fuel gauge. Anything else? No, just buy one. I'm not going to tell you not to. You're not watching Not Too Grand because you want sensible consumer advice about, safe Euro NCAP high-scoring family hatchbacks. You're doing it because you've got a couple of grand and you want to buy as much car as you can for that money. And this is a lot of car. You get to tell people you've got a Jag, and not only that, an XJR, and it's fast, and it makes you feel like you're in a Guy Ritchie film when you're driving it, because it is well gangster. Yes, it's a cool thing to drive. You feel quite special. It makes driving feel like a bit of an event. even if you're just going to Morrison's to get petrol like I was, again, which you'll do a lot because it's terrible on fuel. But so what? It's a Jag XJR. Service history, get one that's not rotten, or not too rotten, that's, you know, nothing insurmountable. Try and get one that's not two Jags welded together. You know, there's plenty of them about. They made over 3,500 of them. So shop about, get a nice one, and if you have it as a second car, or if your commute is registerable in meters rather than miles, then you'll be fine and you'll love it, and it's just cool. I don't know how you quantify cool, but this Jag is one way of doing it. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to try and make more of these. Said we would. Obviously, Corona's put a bit of a dampener on things. A couple of things though that you need to be aware of. First of all, down in the links at the bottom of this video, there's a link to Great Driving Days, and you can drive this car for £59 for the hour, and that's something you should be doing, because you can have a go, you can try before you buy. Maybe try and tie it in with a day where you can drive some other cars. Graham puts on events like that. That would be great. And the other thing as well, no obligation, but there's also a link to our Patreon. These things take a bit of time and a bit of money to do. I will keep doing them regardless, but if you want to support us in what we're doing, you know, being a little voice for the cheaper car, then that would be much appreciated. But don't worry if not, we will keep making the videos because we just like doing it. Thanks for watching.